So I have these jeans I like, but I put them in the dryer and they shrink. They don't fit anymore. Ugh. So let's fix them. Today, I'm gonna show you how to make a pair of jeans bigger at the waist. And we're gonna do this by adding elastic. And this method is going to be easy, quick, comfortable, and professional. That's right, we're going to be using elastic. And you might be thinking it's going to look bad, but I'm gonna show you how to make it look real nice. Nobody's ever gonna know you altered your jeans with that elastic there. They're gonna think you bought it from the store. For elastic, I'm going to suggest that you get a 3-inch wide piece of elastic and get a color that matches your denim. Real quick, before we start, if you're really enjoying Sewing Anastasia, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you wanna learn more about sewing, make sure you check out my online classes and the sewing club. There's links down below. Now let's get back to making these pants fit. To make these pants bigger, we're going to be adding elastic in the back. So first thing we need to do is figure out how much of the jean to remove. Now I'm going to recommend 2 inches on each side of center back here. So we're gonna cut out like a 4-inch chunk here. And you can see if I take 4 inches of elastic and stretch it, we've got a lot of extra give there. Now you could make this area bigger. You could do 6 inches, but I'm gonna recommend 4. Let's start chalking out where we want to cut. So I'm gonna measure 2 inches on this side from center, and then 2 inches over on the other side. And now I wanna come up about 3/8 of an inch from this big bulky seam here on the bottom of the yoke. We wanna avoid that seam there on the yoke when we're sewing because it's going to be really thick and chunky. Okay, so now where I have these chalk lines, we are gonna cut through our pants. We're gonna cut this chunk out. So we're gonna cut right where that chalk line is. Okay, and now we're missing the back of our pants. Now that we have the chunk cut out of the back, we are done with that. And what we're going to do is take the elastic and we're going to put it in this opening. Now I've cut a piece bigger than the actual opening here. What we want to do is make sure that it's lining up at the top of the waist. You can pin this together right now if you like, so that way it doesn't move around on you. Keep it nice and flat. And what we're going to do is chalk out this shape here. So once you have that nice and flat, let's go ahead and chalk out right next to the cut line. There we go. And now I want you to remove your pins, pull out the elastic. There's our shape that we need to fit into that little hole. Now I'm gonna chalk out my seam allowance, and it's going to be 3/8 of an inch times 2. So I'm gonna chalk out 3/4 of an inch. There we go. And now we can cut around the perimeter of that seam allowance. Next, we need to prepare our points for sewing. And we've got 1, 2, 3. Now let's clip those points. So we're gonna clip in roughly 3/8, but stop right before. And then here at the center as well. There we go. And now we are ready to pin our elastic in here. And you can see those slits. We're gonna place the right side of the elastic with the right side of the denim, and we're gonna start at the center. And when I start at the center, I'm just gonna make sure I pull that little slit open, and I'm gonna sew from the bottom of that slit over to the other one right here and stop. And then we're gonna start at center, and then we're gonna sew over to the other side and stop at that little slit. So essentially we're sewing from center out on both sides. And if it makes it easier for you, you can totally just pin this area in. So I'm starting at the center. You are gonna backstitch and make sure you're stitching right below that yoke there. So you should be able to see that yoke seam. Make sure everything is nice and lined up. We're gonna sew right to the tip of that slit and backstitch. And now I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the other side. Let's take a look at what we just sewed and talk about our next step. So we have this little bottom V sewn up. So if I lift that up, you can see that it's sewn in right there. And now we need to sew up these sides. So now we're gonna take these two sides and we're going to sew them together. And we're gonna do that on both sides. So I'm gonna start at the top, make sure we're back stitching, we'll make it nice and strong. And then we're just gonna come all the way down to that point. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you can see we have this piece sewn into the back of the pants, but we don't want to leave all these raw edges to fray. So let's go ahead and zigzag them together. And then we'll be done. So I have all the edges together, including the elastic, and I'm going to zigzag them together. This is going to prevent it from falling apart when we wash it. We're going to do this around all three sides here. And now we're done. So you can see we have that piece of elastic inserted, sewn down and zigzagged so it doesn't fall apart when we wash it. And look at all that stretch. I can't wait to try these on. And then from the outside, we have our elastic in there. Now we did use a contrasting color so you could really see this, but you could just buy navy blue elastic and nobody would ever know you've got elastic in the back of your pants. The jeans now zip up and they are so much more comfortable. Ready to check out the back? Look at this. We have got this panel in here, making it so much more comfortable and easy to get on. And again, just get matching elastic and nobody's ever gonna know. Thanks so much for watching Sew Anastasia today. If you have any questions on this process, leave it down below and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And if you're really enjoying the videos, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. These videos are for you guys. And let me know what videos you want to see. Leave it down below in the comments. And if you want to learn even more about sewing, make sure you check out my online classes and in-person classes that I teach here in my studio in Chicago. And if you want to know what's going on in the studio today, well, check out the Instagram stories because it's there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.